to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land of put up.
Hello everyone and welcome again to On Tour. It's the review cricket program where we look back at the West Indies versus Sri Lanka series. At the moment, the series in the T20s is locked 1-1 after the Sri Lankans outsmarted the Windies at Coolidge. I'm Barry Wilkinson. Thank you so much for joining us. It was match number 2, just a couple of hours or 40 hours after Kieron Pollard set a big record, hitting 6 sixes, and there was also hat-tricks. The next game was much different. The West Indies just couldn't get their groove going, and they fell badly by some 43 runs at Coolidge. A look at the scorecard is telling the tale. The Sri Lankans, they batted first, 160 for 6 in 20 overs. Their advance was actually halted because after 10 overs, they were actually 95 for 1. However, we saw that Lanka, he made 56 from 42, and then it was Dwayne Bravo, a double strike in his first over, but the West Indies just weren't able to really pull them back for anything under 150. They made 160 for 6. Holder, 1 for 36, McCoy, 1 for 34, and the Sri Lankans, they looked happy again to score just over 160. The Windies, though, as you can see there, they fell badly, 117. McCoy, top scoring with 23, Lendl Simmons, 21, Chris Gale getting 16, and it was Sandakan, 3 for 10, De Silva, 3 for 17, and Shamira, 2 for 26, destroying the West Indies. So then we've got our star-studded panel that's back, led by Sir Clive Lloyd, the former Guyana and West Indies captain. We also have our international correspondent, the BBC's Johnny Barron, and Philo Wallace, the former pugnacious West Indies and Barbados opening batsman. Gentlemen, as we look briefly in the brief answer at what happened, first of all, Philo, were you surprised by how the West Indies played after the first game, now leading into the second?
Yes, Barry, I was actually surprised with how West Indies played that second T20 game after such a convincing win in the first. To really succumb to Sri Lanka's slow bowlers in such an easy way was a shocker to me.
Johnny, from your perspective, in terms of the team plan, it seemed very much to me like Mickey Arthur was happy to see that his plan actually worked and came together. Did you read it like that as well?
Yeah, I think it worked very nicely. I think you saw that Sri Lanka bowled pretty well with the spin bowlers operating in that first T20, and then they stuck to their plan beautifully. They got a very serviceable total in those conditions, and then spun the West Indies to oblivion.
So, Clive, where did the West Indies go wrong?
I think it's in their application, really, to the task. I think we tried to go aerial all the time. That's what, and I don't think the T20 is just about trying to hit sixes all the time. You're looking for the maximum. Can hit it along the ground like their two openers did. Played some terrific shots, gave them a good start, and then we didn't do too well against the spin either. It doesn't look like we're picking them properly, and we didn't look very good at all.
Now, Johnny, you have to be balanced in this equation because when Sri Lanka came out, the openers looked really good. In fact, Ganatalaka, he looked to me like he was going to get a 50 in a hurry, and he did. He got 56 from 42. What was the strength there with that opening partnership? Was it the fact that the West Indies bowled badly, or was it simply a case that Ganatalaka and Nistanka came up with that plan to try and off-settle the opening pair of Fila, Edwards, and Sinclair?
No, I don't think the West Indies bowled particularly badly throughout the course of the game. They were perhaps a little bit lax in that power play, but also Sri Lanka, were keen to make the most of that power play. They don't have particular muscle in this side. You only have to look at the first T20 where the West Indies got 13 sixes, Sri Lanka just the 3. They're never going to out-muscle the West Indies. But what they are going to do is thread the gaps in those early stages, and that's exactly what they did to get up to a very, very decent power play score. And of course, off the first 10 overs, they were looking good for maybe 180, potentially 200 before West Indies put the squeeze on.
Put the victory for Sri Lanka into context then, as to the victory for them now 1-1 going to tomorrow.
I think it's a fantastic win for Sri Lanka, who have had a miserable year in world cricket. They've played 7 games since the pandemic, or since last March. They've lost 3 T20s in that time, 2 tests away to South Africa, 2 at home to England. And on top of that, they've lost 8 T20s in a row. Chuck in the fact that they've lost 5 T20s in a row to the West Indies. You can see that this is a hugely heartening win, especially when you consider the problems they turned up without their captain, of course, problems with 2 bowling coaches falling by the wayside before the start of this tour. It really was a heartening win for Mickey Arthur and the rest of the team.
Philo, a lot of talk has been about Dwayne Bravo. People are saying and contemplating if he should be playing. He hasn't been fully fit. But we saw that he was the person who actually stopped the blood from running out of the Sri Lankans, because he came back with a double strike and he looked the part. Your thoughts on Dwayne Bravo, 2 for 25, and his continued role in this T20 team?
Well, Barry, I thought he bowled well, but I would like to question his role. I would like Dwayne Bravo to just concentrate on being a T20 cricketer for West Indies. All of this mentor role thing that he's doing as a player, I don't think he can combine both. I think we have people who are employed. We have a bowling coach. We have other people who are employed to do those things that Bravo is doing. On the field, yes, if you want to lend a little advice, sure. But I think that he just needs to focus on his game. We saw even when he batted what Matthews did, call back the fast bowler, and the man bowling was sharp and he got out. So these are things that he needs to work on. His bowling last night was spot on, but there are other aspects of his game that he needs to focus on and try to take away those other responsibilities that I don't believe a player should be doing at that stage of his career.
So, Clive, is St. Clair the right man to open the bowling with? Is he being thrown into the deep end too soon?
Well, the point is that it's very difficult to say at this point, really, but I think that we do have bowlers that we had a young Holder, Shimar Holder, who we were grooming. We had Alzari, Joseph, and they seem to be put to one side. And Alzari can, bat a bit. I think that we seem to be chopping and changing too much. I think you need to have a settled side and make sure that the guys who you're playing have got the ability to adapt to this type of cricket. Because at the moment we seem to be playing, it's a 6-hitting game, and it's not that. And we were lucky that we didn't have to score 190, because for 9 overs, 9.5 overs, they were nearly 100 runs. And if that guy didn't get out, I think that we could have been chasing a mammoth total. So we have to think about things that we're doing at the moment. We want to include young players, but we have to make sure that they understand their role and that they're capable of holding their own.
As a former great captain, would you give Kieron Pollard props or points for the way he pulled the game back? Because like you correctly said, they were going for 200. The predictor said they would have got 220 at the rate they were going. They only got 160. An applause for Pollard for pulling it back?
Yes, he's a keen student of the game. You have Bravo who can bowl slow balls, and he does his role quite well. Our problem is that when we get a score, if we've a score of over 60 or whatever, we must be able to approach it properly. And I think the Sri Lankans now realize that we're not playing their spin as well. And in the one days and the test match, they'll have a lot of spin to contend with.
All right, you're watching On Tour. When we come back and look at how the West Indies batted, and we also put to the panel, is this the right 11 for the West Indies? Any perhaps thoughts of changing up the team for that match number 3? We'll be right back here on Flow Sports. You're watching On Tour.
Put up your hand, it's time to party. Turn it up to the top, it's time to jump up. People, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand, it's time to party.
So we're just getting ready to start, of course, the third match. The West Indies won all in the series with Sri Lanka. It's going to be a cracker-jacker at Coolidge. Well, I put this question to the panel. In terms of the West Indies batting now, let's start first of all with Johnny Barron. I said it earlier, there was an obvious plan to have the spin to halt someone like an Evan Lewis who likes the ball coming onto him, and it worked. He was bowled quite early, and it seemed to me that the West Indies openers and even those coming after just seem a little susceptible to the spin bowling. Is that true, Johnny Barron?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the big difference between the two sides is that Sri Lanka had three mystery spinners or three leg spinners, if you like, and essentially, what the West Indies have is finger spinners, and there's a big difference in the fact that the ball is going to deviate a great deal more, and the West Indies really struggled to come to terms with that. They are a power hitting side, and coming up with a plan B is going to be really important going into that tournament in India. They managed it in a couple of low scoring games in 2016, and you feel they have to do the same again if they're going to compete in the forthcoming World Cup.
Philo, people continue to say, as when you look at the social media pages, even the pages and comments on our pages, they're not happy with Chris Gayle batting at number 3. They feel that Chris Gayle should be opening with Evan Lewis. How do you feel about that?
Barry's a natural opener. Over the years, we saw Chris Gayle batting in the middle in various franchises, T20 franchises around the world. I believe he's best suited for West Indies at the top. Do we leave out Evan Lewis or do we leave out Lendl Simmons? The choice is up to the selectors. But I think there's a guy in this team that has been given a raw deal, that's Andre Fletcher, because I don't see the role of what Fabian Allen is doing. So if I was a selector, Gayle will have to open the batting with Evan Lewis, because I think the two of them are the ones who have done it before. Maybe drop Simmons to 3 and filter in Andre Fletcher, because Ralph will probably can bat spin, but I think that Gayle should open the batting and use him and Evan Lewis to be our two main openers in the T20 side if we're going to continue to use Gayle in our T20 cricket.
You also look at the fact that Lendl Simmons has been batting well. He has been pretty consistent. But did we use the reviews against us rather than for us on the occasion last night? Except for one, which went the West Indies way.
I think our batsmen, I'm not certain how they plan to use these reviews, because sometimes you feel that they're using the review just because of using it sake. There has to be a system when you're batting. Who are the batsmen who are going to take the reviews and at what stage? Because you just can't use a review for using it sake because you believe you're not out. You have a partner who will say, look, I think you're out. And our batsmen, Barry, will have to understand that they're using muscle against slow bowling, where they should use common sense and work the ball around. Now, we keep hearing about fitness tests, and these guys passing fitness tests. But I would really like to know what the fitness test is all about. Is it about muscling the ball, or is it about running between the wickets and being active in the field? Because I think that if we look to run more singles, we can be more effective as batsmen against the Sri Lankan spinners. So we still need to be careful how we approach batting the Sri Lankan spinners. And the review system have to be used for the benefit of West Indies, not for the benefit of a player.
So, Clive, you've seen many a great spinner in your time, and I put that to you because I want to ask you about Sandakan, De Silva, and Shamira. Are they really great spinners, or are they just getting assistance from the pitch?
I think they're very good spinners, but the point is, if you're not playing them well, they will look even better. The point about it is that we're giving our wickets away, really. I mean, it doesn't. You can milk them. You can get 2s and 3s and so on, and you don't lose wickets. And I think Philo was right. Let's Gayle open the batting, and Simmons at number 3. Simmons played in that World Cup. We picked him in the 2020 World Cup in India because he was a better player of spin than Pollard, and that's what we did. And I think that it's a situation where he might be able to solidify the middle. And we're losing too many wickets when the spinners come on. And it looks like down the line, they're mesmerized by them.
Yeah, I think that's simply the case. And, I know you had some stats on this spin attack, Johnny Barron. This spin attack is one that the Sri Lankans have been apparently been working on behind the scenes since November, December, when they learned they were coming to the West Indies. So they obviously came here with a plan. Looking at the West Indies batsmen, Johnny.
Yeah, they very much came here with a plan, and a good one. You only have to look at the stats of the last game. 8 wickets fell to spin in 13 overs for the loss of 48 runs. And actually, I have to ask the question, why didn't they play 3 spinners in that first match? Because I think they bowled really, really well throughout the course of the game, and that is their strength. Sri Lanka have always relied on mystery and wrist spinners through the course of their history. You look at the likes of Harath, of course, and Muralitharan before that, and they've got 3 very serviceable operators in this side now.
Yeah, wonderful stuff. You're right. All right, look, when we come back on Tour, we're going to hear from the two captains, Karen Pollard and Angela Matthews, before we start Game 3. Stay with us.
Just put up your hand, it's time to party. Turn it up to the top, it's time to jump up. People, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand.
So the West Indies lapsed and were outsmarted by the Sri Lankans. It's now 1-1 going into Game 3. Let's hear from the captains, Karen Pollard and Angela Matthews.
Karen, tough luck today. Is that batting beginning to worry you a bit?
Again, we can say all sorts. At the end of the day, we didn't get it total. I just thought that, a couple dismissals were a bit soft, and just not playing, our matchups. We had the left-right combination, for a reason, and, some guys getting out to the opposite where it's supposed to be. So, again, it's a matter of just figuring it out mentally and, coming and trying to put it right.
Yeah, and on a more positive note, your bowling again came to the fore. What impressed you the most about that collective bowling effort?
Yeah, I thought they got off to a very good start. They were 90-odd in about 10 overs, and I thought we pulled them back pretty well in the last 10 overs. They only made about 66 or so. So it shows that the guys are, executing. They're clear in what they want to do. And it's just a matter of us now, taking our couple chances and, squeezing, the Sri Lankan batsmen a bit more.
How important will be that game in 2 days' time?
Obviously very important, 1-1, going into Sunday. So, all to play for, for us, obviously we're looking to come out and win, and we're looking to come out and still be positive. At the end of the day, that's the sort of cricket, we play in that way, with intent. And it's just a matter of, using a little bit of cricket smarts and using our matchups pretty well. And, I think we'll be fine.
Tough luck today, better luck next time.
Thank you.
Right, that was Karen Pollard, captain of the West Indies. Now for the winning captain, Angelo Matthews. Congratulations, Angelo. A smile on your face. Was it a case of good planning and execution coming together today?
Yeah, we were pretty smart today. I thought, once we got 90 in the first 10 overs, it was pretty tough to bat on. I mean, the wicket got slower and slower once the ball got older. So we had to run hard. We had to... Our target was to try and get 160, 170. I thought we fell short of about 15 runs on that wicket. After the start that we got, Danushka and Pathum Nissanka batted brilliantly. They gave us a platform where the middle order could go out there and launch.
You made one change to your team today, Laksan Sandakan coming in. Did you get enough value from him?
Absolutely, he bowled brilliant. Yeah, I thought the spinners were troubling the West Indies batters. I thought, that was probably the only way, because you need to take off the pace of the ball on this wicket, especially because once the ball is older, it's really tough to get on with it. So, yeah, I thought the spinners bowled brilliantly.
What brought on that master stroke from you as captain in the 9th over, Gunatilaka getting a wicket, and then in the 11th over, Dushmanta Chamera, double wicket strike from him?
Yeah, I thought of, felt that Bravo is going to take him on in the second over, if I bowled him in that second over. So I thought, maybe not. So I went with, Dushmanta. It was, it paid off. I mean, those decisions might pay off sometimes. It doesn't sometimes. But I thought the bowlers chipped in and the fielding was outstanding today.
Still a little bit of room for improvement. Again, when you batted, a very good start, but not able to finish the innings off. What would you be thinking about for that third one-day international? T20, sorry.
Yeah, as I said before, after the start that we got, we are disappointed that we couldn't get another 15, 20 runs. So it played a little bit on the wicket as well. The way, I thought our shot selection, the execution was not there. But overall, it was a good win. Obviously, winning is a good habit to have. So we are back on the winning track, and we are extremely happy.
Finally, a word on Dhananjaya and Hasaranga.
Yeah, they're bowling bombs at the moment. Dhananjaya and Hasaranga, they've been bowling extremely well over the past couple of years, and also Sandakan today was excellent. So the spinners, the trio came off really well for us. So hopefully in the next game as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, gentlemen. So we now put to the panel finally the 11 going into the final match. First of all, Philo, any changes from your end, and what would you do tactically different to try and win this third game?
Well, Barry, this is me. I really feel that Andrew Fletcher should get a play in this final game. I think he's capable enough, and he's been around the T20 squad to actually get a player. When you look at Sinclair, there's still some question marks over him. Who do you replace him with, Akil Hussain, or are you going to go with Rahman Powell? I think they will stick with Sinclair. So I will only really pull this guy, Fabian Allen, out and allow the Spice Man to play. He would give us more depth in our batting. I think he'll give us a bit more control as well in those middle overs. So that is the only change I would make. I think Fidel is really trying hard, and he only bowled 2 overs last night to my surprise, but he's trying hard at his age. I don't really want to dwell on his age, but he's putting in the effort that we know Fidel Everett is going to put in. It's just about the other bowlers supporting, and then obviously the batsmen coming together and scoring the runs or putting a good score on the total on the board.
Somebody told me that St. Clair's being picked for his acrobatics. Well, I come to you now, Johnny Barron. On the flip side, Sri Lanka. I doubt they make any changes.
Absolutely not. No, I think they're going really nicely. They've worked. Angelo Matthews talked before the game about just getting a serviceable total on the board and then letting the spinners do the work. And I think that's the format that will really serve them well through the course of the final game. That the pitch takes turn. They've got a side really well equipped to take advantage of that, and they're starting to get into decent form with the bat as well. It will be a compelling final watch.
And Sir Clive, I know you more had advice for the team rather than team changes. But if you had to give me in 30 seconds what you would tell Kieran Pollard, what would that advice be as a former great captain like yourself?
Well, the point is there's so many things in the sense that, like, our spinners are not turning the ball anyway. They're not really big, but they're just spinners of the ball. So we have that sort of problem. So the Sri Lankans are not having a problem with that. Our batters must try and apply themselves a little bit more. They have to discuss how they will attack them or play them, and really and truly that's the problem. The Sri Lankans, as I said in the last time we were here, that they're now, once they've gotten acclimatized, they will be a bit of a handful, and they now have got the one on us in the sense that their spinners are turning the ball. And we don't know, we're not picking them properly, so it's going to be difficult to score. So that is why, anytime they post a big score, we're struggling. I don't know if I don't know really and truly how many changes you can make. You don't want to make too many because you would like to win this last game and sort of square the series.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We're out of time. Of course, the next match starts shortly. And the West Indies, of course, will be looking to try and win 2-1. But the Sri Lankans will be looking to do the same. We're in for a cracker-jacker. I'm Barry Wilkinson. Thank you so much to Phil Wallace, Johnny Barron, and Sir Clive Lloyd. We'll see you tomorrow again for another edition of On Tour.
Jump up, people, are you ready?